Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information you need to make a good choice at the ballot box. So we've got some good stuff for you to you to. Blah, 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 blah. We got some good stuff to talk about tonight. So we got all three of us are here. So let's get this show going all the way from very windy and rainy Muskogee, Oklahoma. His house is still there. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome, welcome.
Howdy, everyone. How you doing, Art?
I'm doing pretty good. How my apartment's still here. We had some weird weather here yesterday. It was raining mostly, and we got some snow too, which was really weird. I worked overtime at work, and when I walked out after my shift, it was snowing like crazy. So,
Yeah.
and once I got down the street, headed towards the gas station before I filled up to go to Bucky's, it just started raining. So, uh, yeah, it was crazy.
I got I got one the little chihuahua, the littlest girl. She's wanting up here and wanting to be held, but she's wet because she's been out back in the rain. It's like
Ah,
wet dog. No, thank you.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's no good. All right. Someone who's not a wet dog, all the way from rainy New York. It is Charles Gillespie. Welcome, welcome.
Hey Art, hey Lloyd,
hey,
everybody in the
Charles.
chat.
How you doing, Charles? How's the weather in your neck of
Good.
the woods?
Well, it's mostly sunny today with a high of 71 degrees. Rain starting here around 9 o'clock tonight.
Oh, nice, nice, good, good. All right. Ah, so let's get this show going. We got some weird stuff going on at college campuses around the country. We got these idiots, uh, pro Hamas, pro Palestinian demonstrators are trying to get their respective schools to divest in Israel and the IDF. And so a lot of these demonstrators are getting arrested, and some have been violent. Oh, as a matter of fact, Ilhan Omar's daughter was arrested, and now she's homeless because she got kicked out of the school that she was at, which is
Good.
good for them. Glad
Good
they
for
did
them.
that. I mean, you know what? She is so broke, she can't get a Father's Day card for her uncle. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just bad. Yeah. I mean, it's bad. I was just one of the things is I was just reading one of the several articles on Fox News. A lot of the problem is uh, these are outside agitators. Those are the ones. Those are the ones they're really mainly arresting. You know, is these outside people. There was one of the college campuses that at like 7:45 in the morning, these group of 20 or 30 people started pushing their way through the police there at I don't know whether wasn't Yale, but it was one of the others. It might have been
Columbia?
no, it was Polytech out in California,
Ah, oh
and
yeah, that'd
yeah,
be USC.
Hobart. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's University of California Polytech Hobart.
Ah, okay.
It's the actual Polytech College, not the
Ah,
University of
okay.
Southern California, which is different. Uh,
Okay.
but anyway, so they pushed through, and the cops, you know, they didn't have enough people to, or didn't have authorization, you know, and they've set up an encampment there, but they're not. The administrators haven't given them the go ahead to move them off. Uh,
Right.
what's sad about this is like I think one, yeah, it might have been at the Polytech. One of the schools they pushed into to the open green area that was actually being set up for the graduation ceremonies. And all
Oh
these
boy.
all these campuses, like Yale, has got I think they've got a hard close, which means nobody can be on the campus unless they're authorized. And
Right. Right.
so all these colleges, these kids that are supporting it, uh, well, a good portion of the protesters aren't even kids at the students. They're not,
Right.
and so hey, Ronnie, and so they're not, they're, their college, these young people, their college graduation is being ruined by a bunch of outsiders,
Right. Hmm.
you know, and the administrations, the only thing they're doing is just shutting it down because they have nothing else. They can't do anything else really. Just shut it
Right.
down, which is,
Hmm.
what these protest groups are wanting. It's
Right. And
uh,
not only that, but you had mentioned while we were having a conversation before the show that George Soros is
George.
sending money to help with the legal
Yeah,
defense of
yeah.
these protesters that
This
been
is the same George Soros back situation that we've seen all the way going back to Black Lives Matters and
right.
Antifa.
Hmm.
It's the same. And why our country doesn't, well, I know why. It's because of the administration we have. If we had a different administration, I think things would be different. But
Right.
it's just like
Hmm.
I think in Indiana, I was just reading the the mayor uh, was actually went out and supported the uh, protesters. She went out there to support them. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh boy.
yeah.
I
I think
hope
it
he
was.
resigned.
It's a she. Uh,
Or she,
yeah,
or
or whatever they choose to be that day. Uh, but yeah, it's just sad that we've got so much of this going on. These young people, their lives are being ruined. Some of
mhm,
these kids, they're being expelled, and because they decided to follow whatever way the wind was blowing, and they may have, you know, and what's really worse is they have all that student debt that
yeah,
we as taxpayers will end up having to pay for because
right.
they didn't get to finish their degree because yeah, cool cat. I wished I could do something about my audio. I just saw that, but the only thing I can do is speak up louder because
Yeah.
this, and I still have not found my. So I think what I'm going to do is just order another mic to
Mm.
install on this, or I'm going to get a better software to run things because it just is not the I, and I'm using Bluetooth now, which should have been a better. I've tried everything, and it's just not.
Right.
I can't seem to get the volume up, so I don't know what's
What?
going on with
So
it.
what's wrong with your PC back in your
I
studio?
just don't. I just don't want to go that far. It's just. It's just laziness on my part. I've got to go
Yeah.
in there. There's a lot of things I got to start doing and going through, and I'm not. I just haven't been ready, so I'm just
Uh,
staying in this small area here where I have been. So,
mm-hmm.
but no, nothing's wrong with the PC. I just
Right.
too many things I
Lazy.
got to do, and other. Yeah, it's just uh, this is easier
Yeah,
for
we
me.
got you.
It's just
Hmm.
right now it's just easier for me,
Right.
but
So,
uh,
so what George Soros is doing, he's funneling money through what thousands of different organizations. One of them being Act Blue, and they're the ones that distribute the money to help with the legal uh, problems of these students by paying their bond, if there is a bond, or pay for a lawyer to take care of their court cases. And and what they ought to do is, I mean, supposedly foreign, you know, citizens cannot donate money or give contributions to candidates for office, why can't they do the same thing for organizations like ActBlue and all these organizations saying, well, you could get money, but you can't receive any money from any foreign sources? Because George Soros, even though he is technically an American citizen, he does not live in the United States. He resides in Curacao, which is part of, it's a Dutch island, so everybody pays for their own dinner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not getting any better, are they, Charles?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are so many different things going on right now,
Mm-hmm.
with this. And this has been going on now since, I mean, it actually started before Trump came into office.
Right.
And we're no better, and it's starting to escalate. It's getting more and more
Right.
violent. I mean, we're talking Hamas. We're talking these people are pro Hamas. This is uh, they're terrorists.
Yeah.
And why we are allowing our young people to support terrorists. You know,
Right.
but they're allowed to support. They're allowed to protest, and that's freedom. That's the freedom of speech.
That's
But
correct.
uh, and I guess it goes down to the fact that even the neo Nazis had the
Mm-hmm.
right to protest and march.
Mm-hmm.
Well, march
Yep.
peacefully.
Yeah.
We didn't like it, but it was part of their freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Eventually,
And who was that organization that helped out those Nazis? And it was
the
all the way.
ACLU.
Yep. And
Yeah.
who were the founders of the ACLU? They were former communist members.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this,
The C,
they're
yeah, CPUSA, I think it was.
yeah, and their whole point, I think, was to get back at our country for what they was done to them, like with the Hollywood elites that were blacklisted.
Red Scare.
The Red Scare. This goes back to that. It goes
Yeah.
before that because the socialism and the socialist people's parties were all over the United States, especially you know after World War One and
Right.
leading up to World War Two. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of that because we had the Depression. People were wanting to work, but they couldn't get it. And
Mm-hmm. Yep.
the socialist parties offered the unions and trade unions and socialist organizations seemed to offer them a glimmer of hope that our own
Right.
country couldn't do at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And therein lies the other problem is our government during the Depression kept enacting all of these laws and these regulations trying to prop up our economy,
Mm-hmm.
and it ended up
Yeah.
it,
Extending the depression by
extending the
another
Depression
10
by
years.
another. Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. And the only
And
thing that got us out, well, we had World War II.
World War Two.
That
Yeah.
and that ramped up production, and
Right.
then with the draft, we drafted what 5-6 million men, and we got we paid for war equipment, with
Right.
the Liberty ships and tanks and bombers and aircraft and rifles, all that stuff. That's where the factories got converted over from civilian uh,
Military.
to military.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But before the war, there was the TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority, where they had
Yeah.
the what was it, the CCC, the
Well,
CWA,
yeah. The
Conservation Works of
well,
America,
it was the WPA.
WPA. Yeah,
Yeah, WPA and the Civilian Conservation Corps.
right,
Of course, the WPA was basically its nickname was We Poke Along because those guys they were building roads and didn't matter how long as long they were getting paid by the day, and the longer it took to finish a project, the longer they were employed.
right,
You know,
right.
and the Civilian Conservation Corps did a lot of good work in our national forest. Uh, Yeah, I think TJ's talking about that little red heart down there on the chat. I think you can control that uh, through one of the settings of your YouTube channel, I believe.
Yeah.
I've never figured it out either, so I don't know how to do it. I'm going to have to check into that tomorrow. But yeah,
Uh,
my grandfather and dad both did did work for in Arizona. There was one of the big between Phoenix and I can't remember now. It was north of Phoenix, in one of the national forests up there.
that'd be Flagstaff.
White. It was between Flagstaff. No, it wasn't that far north. It was
Uh,
we're talking just north of Phoenix, or it may have been. Come to think of it, south of Phoenix. But anyways, there was one of the White Mountain National Forest, and they
uh,
did. That's where my dad worked at. Now my grandfather, he worked in he worked on Red Rocks. He helped build Red Rocks Theater.
oh, yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
Yep.
as well as working on Lands End Road and the National Forest up on Grand Mesa there outside of Grand Junction. So
Oh, okay.
so, but that was something. But it didn't help the economy any. It just kept people fed. You
Right.
know,
Hmm.
but it didn't really, there were still food shortages because the
Hmm.
farms were, the Dust Bowl coming
Yeah.
out of
Dust Bowl.
Oklahoma and
Yep.
Kansas and
Kansas. Yep.
Texas.
Hmm.
It was just, our farmlands are, central farmlands were devastated, and and that was from, that's when they started paying farmers to rotate crops or not grow during certain
Right.
time periods,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
unfortunately, that got to be a habit, and now they pay them not to grow. They're still doing it, and it's not
Yep.
necessary anymore.
Yep. And also, one of the benefits from the TVA is what
Electricity.
helped with the Manhattan Project, because
Yeah,
Oak
yeah.
Ridge, which was in Tennessee,
Tennessee.
they got enough electricity to help with the Manhattan Project, because Oak
Right.
Ridge was, I think were they doing uranium there, and then Hanford was doing plutonium?
I can't remember now. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
because they were doing two different things. One was a cyclotron, and the other one was a,
Yeah.
a gas diffuser. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were, because they weren't sure which one was more efficient than the other.
Right.
And then they
Right. Yeah.
found
They
out
were
later they were about the same. But
about the same. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and part of the idea of the TVA was to bring electricity into the uh, areas of Tennessee that didn't have electricity,
right.
and they
Hmm.
needed a bigger power generator to do that.
Right.
So
Hmm.
that's why they started the Tennessee Valley Authority,
Yep.
and that's where the hydroelectric plants went into effect.
Right.
And as you said, the massive amounts of electricity that were needed to, that was the behind the scenes stuff or below the dam stuff type thing that was
Right.
going on. But
Hmm.
yeah, and going back to uh, uh, some of this, college kids are supporting the idea of separating whites and black dorms. Things
Right.
that their parents protest is one. Cool Cat says protest is one thing, but calling for the genocide of Jewish people is illegal. And
Right.
this is what I don't understand, because that's the type of stuff that, like, for example, in London, there was a man that was threatened with arrest because not because he was a pro Hamas protester, but because he was Jewish. And he went to the synagogue in that area and they were protesting, and the police said he needed to move along or he'd be arrested for creating. I don't know what their excuse was, but they were.
Yeah,
He
creating a
needed.
dangerous
Yeah,
situation.
dangerous situation. Yeah, and they said he needed to come back and not look quite so Jewish.
Ah, okay. You know,
You know,
Jeez.
uh,
but yet, there's there's been a couple guys that were arrested because they were protesting against Muslims, and boy, they were deep sick somewhere over there, and they yet to I don't know if they've ever been released, and they were
oh,
and they might be dead by now because they were put in uh, a Muslim uh, area of the prison. So, and of
oh,
course, this
yeah,
person
that's
was
a good place to
anti-Muslim.
put.
Oh yeah,
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 that's like putting the pedophiles in the general population into prison.
yeah. And like Dominic says, we work. They're trying to. Yeah, exactly. Uh, and we've got the college kids are supporting this separating of whites and blacks. We're going back to segregation again, which the
Right.
Supreme Court said
Mm-hmm.
was bad. You know,
Yep.
and the grandparents of these young people now, sometimes the great grandparents of these young people, are the ones who fought to end segregation.
Right. Mhm.
Okay, Cool Cat put a link to
Yes, I
the
see that.
arrest. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, it's
Well,
the
it is part of the playbook for the Democrats because they want, to separate different. They
yeah,
want us to be all in different groups because then it makes it easier to control the different groups.
yeah, and Cool Cat. That's exactly a great quote. No, get him, dog scratching.
Hmm.
Uh,
That's true.
just one generation from extinction, and that's true. I mean, it just. I mean, look at how quickly the freedoms were. Yeah, the London mayor Khan is using the Met Police as the
Con!
enforcement. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we've allowed.
You know what? They elected a con man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I wonder if he does. I wonder if he knows how to do any of those Bollywood dances.
Oh, there you go. The whirling dervishers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
united we stand, divided we fall, and that's exactly right.
Hmm.
This is what. I mean, this is warned all the way back to Abraham Lincoln, the Gettysburg Address. That's one of
Right.
the things he hit on.
Hmm.
And that's part of our Dominic goes face palm. Yeah, yeah, I know. It's
Hmm.
I don't know. It's the lunacy of this world. It's not just here in the United States. I mean, this craziness is
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah, especially in Europe, where,
Yeah,
they allowed the immigration of people from these, Arab countries because they thought, oh, they know best. We know
well,
how to deal with these people. And then what they created were enclaves that are called no-go zones,
yeah,
where
uh,
people are not allowed to go there because it's
yeah.
too dangerous.
And Ronnie's right. This is why they change out the school books every year because it's just they they come up with a new revision of history every year,
Hmm.
and it's
Yep.
the I'm to a point. I just this our society is on the brink of you know. I'm beginning to wonder if it's not time for the apes to take over and we can go, Planet of the Apes, because
Right.
right
Yeah.
now they seem to be the smartest bunch.
Hmm.
Uh, we just need,
Yeah.
and think
Very.
about it. The lead Have I looked at Australian politics? Not in the last 6 months, but I know it's been pretty bad.
Hmm. Well, this will lead into our next topic. Just recently, our state assembly is about to come to a close because our state legislature, they meet for 120 days.
Right?
So now the Democrats control everything up from the three branches here in Colorado, especially our state legislature. They have decided to make a rule book of words you cannot use at the Capitol, like freedom, conservatism, liberty, hard work, and so on. I mean, it's like, you gotta be kidding. This is like it's out of an Orwell book, 1984.
It
It's
it is, and I was like TJ. He writes up. School was real hard for me, and that's the problem. School was hard for a lot of people, but we did it. But then
mhm,
somewhere along the line, we started teaching to the lowest common denominator,
right,
and we didn't have expectations of success allowed by anybody
right,
because that was
mhm,
becoming elitist. And at that
right.
point, our education system started going down.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Ronnie
right,
said,
Ronnie.
"Yeah, Ronnie, I had the same problem. School wasn't easy for me. It was attending. Yeah, I get.
Mine, it was staying awake,
Oh, Lord have mercy.
especially
I
the first half of the day. You know.
I was lucky on my senior year. I got to skip the first hour of class
Ah,
uh, for at
mhm,
least one semester, and
yeah.
then I.
I think. Oh yeah, I had algebra for second hour, and this was my first year, and I'd start dozing off, and I hear Mr. Jones was the teacher. Mr. Carlson, could you come up here and tell us the formula for the quadratic equation? And
Yeah,
I'd go up there and I'd kind of, but I managed to stumble my way through and sort of get to the right answer. So,
yeah, I yeah, my high school, my senior year was crazy. Anyways, I was married, so I
oh,
thought I could stay home when I wanted, and that's not how it worked. And uh, I I had blown out my knees in my sophomore year, so I couldn't finish sophomore gym,
ah,
PE. But you
right,
had to have it in order to graduate.
right.
I
Hmm.
had one semester, but I needed a full year of it, so I had to go back.
Wow.
And hello, Steve. So
Hey,
I had to go
Steve.
back. So
Hey, Steve.
here I was, a senior, taking sophomore gym class. And that was my first class of the day
Mhm.
because the first semester I didn't have to come in. The second
Mr.
semester I did.
Mendenhall, could you climb this rope?
No, I couldn't, and I knew that. Uh,
Did
but
you do the pegboard where you
oh
climb up
yeah,
the?
yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I never
yep,
had I never had PE
yeah.
because I was
Well,
a
I
student.
was lucky because by then it was coming in. It's just coming out of Well, it was started in January, so no, get down. You don't need up here. And yeah, I don't know. She's thundering. Well, quit going outside and getting wet, you little idiot. Uh, anyways, so but yeah, it was hard for me to get motivated for that last. And
Right, right.
unfortunately, the gym teacher, the head coach, was also friends with my father-in-law,
Ah, okay,
which
good.
I found out, and we were doing some work at his place and or at my father-in-law's place, and the coach came out there and helped us, and I didn't know they were friends, and then I knew, oh my God, my goose is
Ah,
thoroughly cooked,
cool.
you know.
Cool.
And so when I graduated high school, I needed that class to graduate, and so I was able to go through graduation. I said, "See there, I made it." He says, "No, you got an empty folder. I didn't say you'd passed." And it wasn't. And at those times, we rented the robes, and then you turned them in, and you got your diploma. And I didn't know for sure until I went and turned my robe in whether whether I actually graduated. So,
Ah,
uh,
there you
but
go. All right, so this goes into our final
yeah, I'm
topic.
sorry, Mark. I'll have to speak up louder.
Yeah.
I'll
hmm Get that
I'll
right.
speak
Get that fixed
louder.
for tomorrow's show.
Yeah, I got to
Go
figure out
down to
what I.
Best Buy.
We
Oh,
don't
you
have a
don't have
Best
a
Buy.
Best Buy.
Now
Go
maybe
to
we have a.
Office Depot.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so our final topic is because of all this crazy shit going on. Are the Jewish students are not going to Ivy League schools? Guess where they're going? They're going to Texas
They're
and
going to Texas.
Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah,
Yep, they're going to school there. Why? Because they feel safer there.
thank you,
And
Steve.
you know what? They're finding out those people are friendly and
Yes.
they don't care
Yeah.
what their religion is, and they're like, wow, I didn't know this about the South. And so they're doing
Oy
great.
vey, y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Hey.
had a Jewish neighbor. You know where he went to school? He went to University of South Carolina,
Yeah.
which is the Gamecocks. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the South still is for the most part the southern part of the United States, starting west of New Mexico or east of New Mexico. Anything east of New Mexico across is, and like up to Oklahoma, south
right. Mm-hmm.
south of Kansas. You got Arkansas and Missouri in that area, and going on over to that whole real southern area. We've got values. We have.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, yeah, we have out of state people come in and try to
Right.
bring their values with them, and we try to explain to them that that's
It's
you
not
know
gonna fly here.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and for the most part we've been successful.
Yep. That's right.
One of the things is in here in Oklahoma, because we've got such a large Native American population, they are really big on family.
Mm-hmm.
They're accepting, but uh, like several of my son's in-laws are gay, and it's just not a big
Mm-hmm.
thing. It just is what it is, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
we don't. They don't expect us to call them anything special or anything
Right.
because,
Mm-hmm.
well, up until a few years ago, we called them what we called them. That was it. The vocabulary hadn't changed yet, and most of them feel that that's silliness, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they have a value of tradition. And family traditions
Yep.
are the furthest
That's
society
right,
drifts
man.
away from the truth, the more the hates those speak it. George Orwell. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean it's just uh, it, the we've lost a value system. That's what it is.
Right.
We have no values anywhere in the world now. I mean, values are having moral values or religious values or
Mm-hmm.
and I say I believe everybody has to have something they believe in as far as
Mm-hmm.
their own uh, uh, spiritual belief or something
Right.
along that something as to a guide to morality. And when
Right.
I say morality, I don't mean necessarily sexual morality or religious morality, but just morality is being a human, you know,
Right.
and
Yep. And treating each other with respect
with
and
respect and
yep.
dignity, and
Mm-hmm.
education weapon whose effects depend on who holds it in the hands and at whom it is aimed. Joseph
Yep.
Stalin, exactly.
That's mm-hmm.
You know, and there was a uh, we've just yeah, Ronnie's a scholar of the day today.
Yep. That's right.
He's really hitting, but but uh, Ronnie's a good guy, anyways. I mean, he's a
Mm-hmm.
nice guy, and I've
And also, I had learned just recently about anti-Semitism. You know, in the Ivy League school, anti-Semitism is off the charts. But if you go to the Big Ten schools, you know, like Michigan, Ohio, and you know the Upper Midwest, they come in second. But down south, there's hasn't been any anti-Semitism going on down there.
yeah.
So it's
Well,
just
there 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 was a time in the Deep South that anti-Semitism was right along with
oh yeah, that was back in the '60s,
in
'70s, and
well,
before
it's
that.
really yeah, it was really
It's really
in the
changed. It's they've
a
been
lot in the 30s, especially because they felt that they blamed the Jews for the financial crisis,
right. Hmm.
and the fact they were poor and the Jews seemed to have all the money, so to speak. But that was the that was the Democratic Party pumping that crap to them.
Yep. Hmm.
And what amazes me is that it was the Jews were the one group that marched alongside the blacks for
Right.
the equal
Hmm.
rights in the South. And
Yep.
yeah,
Hmm.
who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. George Orwell. Well, he's really coming up with his good Orwell quotes.
Yep.
Uh,
Hmm.
and the thing is they're so prevalent. But yeah, anti-Semitism has gone by the wayside in the South because.
Right.
But yeah, in the '60s, they fought to desegregate. They marched alongside of uh, uh, the uh, the civil rights protesters or civil
Right.
rights movement,
Hmm.
and yet they've been left behind.
Hmm.
Again, the Southern Democrats were the ones uh, who were they were the ones coming out of the. It was part of the whole New Deal thing, and
Right.
that old group. I have watched the movie 1984. It's been a long time. Actually,
Yeah.
I think I watched it about 2 years ago, and because it'd been so long, and I hadn't read the book in years, and
Yeah. Same here.
and it's one of those books I need to read again. It's just
Hmm.
something that
And
everybody
Animal
should.
Farm.
Animal Farm too. I was just thinking that
Yeah.
exact thing.
Hmm. Hmm. Uh, TJ just sent me a link on how to get rid of that heart.
Okay. Oh, you got rid of it. Good. I'm gonna
How
have to
to?
get to. Oh,
Yeah.
how to? Well, it looks like. Oh, I'm
So.
on the wrong. I'm on the wrong. I'm looking at the wrong chat window. There we go. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, he's
But
over on Facebook. You know what? I will forward that to you.
yes, yes, yeah. But uh, but yeah, it's. I mean, yeah. Like who was it? The newest, the latest. Mark R. White, the latest production of Venice, Merchant of Venice. Shylock is being. Oh, you sent it to me. Thank you, TJ. I will check that and get that taken care of after the show.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyways, uh, Shylock is being portrayed by a woman.
Oh,
You
well.
know,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, I, so many of the things are they don't pass mustard nowadays. It's just like
Right.
Oh, what movie was it did I watch? It was a remake of an of a, I don't know, I can't even remember now, but I was just shocked at how much they've changed it so much, and I mean, just look at Wonka. They've got
Right,
they didn't even use a little person to play the Oompa Loompas,
right.
They did I can't remember his name now. Hugh Grant played an Oompa Loompa. It's like,
All
the
right,
1950s
Steve.
version, yeah.
Steve Knowles. I send it to you on Facebook as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, excellent, yeah. Yeah, because that's annoying. I don't know why they put that there. It just
yeah.
bugs the heck out of me. But yeah, it's I just don't know
Yeah,
what's going to happen. What kind of mass uh, thing is going to happen to our society before it
right,
finally, are we headed to Mad Max or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, or what are we where
right.
where are we headed with this? It's just and
Well, we
oh,
shall
got a lot of
see next November, which will be very interesting.
well, and might be good for the United States,
Hmm.
but what about the rest of the world? We have to be part of
Yeah,
that
that's
world, and
true. Well, if those people could smarten up in Europe and over in Australia, and you don't have that problem in the Philippines.
no,
That's one of the
well, and
things why I want to move there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and well, and that's because the Philippines still have a lot of family values, and we talked
Yes,
about
they
that a
do.
little bit about that, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, hello, Uncle Bill,
Oh,
a little bit
there
about
we
that
go. There's
because
Bill.
they
Hey, Bill.
still uh, they still teach their heredity. They teach the
Mm-hmm.
the old ways. Just like the neighbors across the street, they're getting ready for the 15th birthday. I can never say that word, and I should be able to.
Quinceanilla.
Quinceanilla. That's right.
Yeah.
Which just means 15, but
Yeah.
it's the celebration
Oh,
of
thank
the
you,
coming of
Steve.
age.
There's my tip jar if you'd like to, you know, throw a few pennies my
Yeah, to
way,
help.
which would
Yeah,
be
help
very
with this
appreciated.
show. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You guys
Just
donate, we might actually get paid, huh, Charles?
Yeah.
because this channel is not monetized. I'm, I don't have the watch hours, although this is my original YouTube channel. It used
Yeah,
to be called Arthur Carlson way
yeah.
back in the day.
Bill is right. There is a lot of political corruption in
Yes.
in the
And
Philippines.
that's why they hate Donald Trump because he's upsetting the apple cart. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It's I don't know. It's just this world is. I'm glad I'm old now instead of young because that means I've got less years to have to put up with this crap. If I was in
Right.
my
Right.
30s and the world was
Hmm.
like this, I don't know whether it would be. You know, I'd probably be in jail because I probably would have gone out and shot some of these nutcases myself just to get rid of them.
Yeah.
You know, thin the population. And and that's it. Whatever happened to survival of the fittest? We got these little skinny jeans, man bun wearing little punks that are out there protesting.
Hmm.
That they're androgynous people that don't know what they are or what they want to be when
Hmm.
they grow up, and
They're
and
so confused.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And we're allowing that. We're
Mhm.
allowing the minority of people because the people I talk to don't believe that kind of stuff.
Right. Hmm.
You know, even
Oh,
amongst the
even some of the kids that are going to the protest, they don't even know
they have
why
no
they're
clue.
protesting.
Right, exactly. They have no
Yeah.
clue, you know, and they go by pronouns exactly.
Yes. Well, Mark,
And
a lot of that is the media. that's generating this stuff. Because, back 20, 30 years ago, the left loved Donald Trump. He actually won an award from the NAACP.
Yeah.
And, he was,
Well,
some of his buds were, who's that? Don King was one of his friends. And, yeah. And he was
well,
very well loved by the black community. And
yeah.
because he was a real estate guy in New York, and he gave money to those people. And
Yeah.
he gave money to both parties because that's how the game was played there.
Well,
You know,
you have to, to be in,
grease the
you got to,
palms.
well, you've got to do something,
Yep.
if you don't, if you're in that position and you're doing business on the scale that he does business, you
Hmm.
want to make sure that the people that come into power, you hope they come into power, will enact legislation that will be friendlier towards conducting that business or making that
Right.
business prosper, or that, and not just your business but the whole overall thing. This
Right.
stuff that they're doing with Trump right now in New York, a lot of
Hmm.
businesses are going to, big companies like that are going to leave. They don't
Yep.
want to be, you know
Well,
they
and the truckers union, they're refusing to, ship products into New York City.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And they're making up crimes that aren't illegal. Like overvaluating his
well,
holdings.
yeah.
That's
And
not crime.
going to the megalomania thing, uh, well, he says, well, there, you got the trombone, yeah, the hotels. That's a business side of him, and he is, he's like any businessman. He was all about that, and that's where the left likes to paint him as being that way. But
Mhm.
and let's be honest, he shouldn't be allowed to post on True Social Network. I just don't think he should be allowed. Somebody needs to take his phone away from him and tell him to sit down and shut up for a while.
Right. Hmm.
But it's there's a persona that he created as part of
Right.
his business persona, you know,
Hmm.
and then you got, because all of us do that. We have this outer persona and we have the real us. It's
Hmm.
like you got the persona of being a ventriloquist when we know in real life you're really crappy
Yeah.
at it, but that's
Yeah.
okay,
That's right.
but
Well,
we know
I learned from the best,
you
Lloyd.
did, yeah, yeah. But
I am
anyways,
getting a little bit better. I'm getting more and more practice, and I have you to thank for. You're the one that kind of
yeah, I know.
inspired me.
Blame it on me again about that. I want to strangle that. I don't even. I hope they
Well,
never
Lloyd,
build a
pick your hand
Bucky's
out
in
of his ass
Muskogee.
for crying out loud.
I
Yeah,
know,
there
right?
you
He,
go.
he enjoyed it too much, and he wanted to pass that love on to somebody else. No,
Mhm.
thank you. Yeah. Uh,
Well, you're
uh,
going to love my next video that's going to come out at 10 p.m. Central Time, 11 p.m.
oh,
Eastern.
good. By then, I'll have taken enough drugs that I won't
Mm.
care what it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Take my bedtime
Bucky
pills.
actually is able to fly. So
Good
tomorrow
for
I'll
Bucky.
drop another video and you'll see some footage of his flying.
Well, at least he's getting to. Our weather's been crap. I haven't been able to fly all
Yeah.
week, and
Same here.
I I love my Avata too. That's all there is to it.
Hmm.
And because of my dogs, I won't fly it in the house. That's the only reason I haven't flown
Yeah.
it. And because
Hmm.
I could just see Ranger taking a bite out of that, and there would go.
Oh, I
I don't
want
know
to
if Care Refresh covers dog bites or not.
right. I want to take it over to my sister's house and chase cats around with it.
Oh, cats is okay. I wouldn't mind chasing the cats, but the dogs,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Watch him come up to the drone and sniff around and paw at it. And right when the motors come on, watch him just go, "Whee!" Take
Uncle
off.
Bill said that they recently said that he's down 10 points in New York City. I think that's why Biden recently said that Florida is in play.
Mm.
Yeah, right. Bill Maher has backed off of, I guess, this week's trial has, or testimony has kind of changing a few people's perspective on things.
Well, if you think about it, what he did is not really illegal. They're trying to make it sound like he was taking money from
Well,
campaign funds.
one of the things that they're having to consider now too is this whole thing may, you know, it, even if he's convicted, it may be thrown out in appeal because of the Weinstein decision. Some of the same rules will apply,
Right,
and this, and also immunity and stuff like that. Because right now it's over the Stormy Daniels thing, right?
right.
That's what the big thing is.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. I mean,
what
who
about
cares? I mean, the Clintons did the same thing.
John Kennedy had
Yeah.
what's her name coming in and out of the,
Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe. And matter of fact, one of the presidents, I can't remember who it was back in the 1920s or 30s, actually had a bedroom off of his main office for his mistress. He was
Uh-huh.
married, but he had a mistress there. She stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, NDAs are not illegal, and that's,
Yep.
she
Mm-hmm.
settled for a certain amount of money with the fact that she wouldn't do interviews. Now, what
Right.
did they actually? It doesn't matter if they had an affair or not. The legal issue is that they signed an NDA,
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying that's not legal. But as far as close to the tornadoes, they danced around us. There was a few. We've had one this afternoon that was a little closer to the others, but yeah, and we got a pretty good. It looks like it's falling apart now, but the tornadoes did dance around us. And 5 o'clock this morning, I was I was telling that to Art before the show. I'd finally got the dogs to finally settle down good, and all of a sudden there was a bright flash in my room, and a loud boom sounded like a cannon went off outside my bedroom window, and it was lightning. It was so close and loud that it actually vibrated my bed. I mean, it shook the house, and it's like, oh my god. And
Yeah. You didn't even have to put quarters in it.
no, I didn't. That bed was shaking on its own, and
Yeah.
uh, I was lucky. I thought Ranger was going to crawl up in bed with me too because he wasn't too happy about it, and uh, it was like, okay, you just stay there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, NDAs are legal, and what they're using. Now here's something. It doesn't, unless he gets jail time, it doesn't matter if he's convicted or not. He can still run for president. He can still be our president.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There is no clause in our Constitution that precludes him from being a convicted felon.
Right.
Now, as a convicted felon, he can't vote for himself,
Right.
but he can be our president.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I don't, I'm just waiting to see. I think that there's going to be a big change up of something in the convention at the convention, and I don't think Joe Biden would be our next president, regardless of how it turns
Right.
out. Uh,
Yep. That's right, Bill.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're trying, and it was a misdemeanor charge, uh, and they're trying to show that the best they could do is saying he used campaign money to pay the hush money.
Uh-huh.
That would be the only violation. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You've had to sign all the NDAs, and that's gonna, what's that gonna do to people? Let's not do an NDA anymore, and
Mm-hmm. Right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
AOC has a problem with bootstraps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So And when she got elected, I kind of knew then and there that our requirements for our politicians had just taken a big dump
Right.
because we no longer required excellence.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh well. To be fair, Lloyd, there have been other politicians that have been not as bright as AOC. How about what that congressman who thought that Guam was going to tip over?
oh, who was that?
Yeah, some congressman. Yeah, he thought, oh, if we have too many people there, it's going to flip over. And it's like, what? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
well, and there again, let's see.
Oh, and then Joe Biden, he says, without a bump stock, the bump stock makes the weapon a higher caliber and shoot bigger bullets.
Oh,
We got Brad, Nana's Attic. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, sir.
hello,
Uh,
Brad. How you
Brad
doing?
got his Lego toys, and
Oh, yeah.
Lloyd finally got his toffee.
Yes, I did.
And
I
mhm.
actually got it Thursday, and I just forgot to text you.
Ah,
This this was one of those weeks that I was, it wasn't a great week for me, just in
yeah,
general. It just
yeah, you'll have those.
oh yeah, I know. It's just it's
It's
kind of
just part of the
it,
process,
part of the
and
process. Yeah, yeah.
mhm, I
And
I
but
had to
yeah,
go through that when my mom passed away. God, it'll be 10 years.
it's
This
it's been a lot
thing,
longer than that since my
thing.
parents
No, it'll
passed,
be
but
12 years this year.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah, it's it's just like I said. I didn't watch any shows this week. I
Ah,
was on Coast to Coast Drones because Bill had asked me
right,
to step in for
right.
Ron Brown,
Hmm.
and I did okay with that. Uh,
Good, good, good. It was good to see you there.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I haven't. Well, I've been going to the shows, but I haven't been staying around because I've been going to bed like at 6:37 at the latest.
yeah.
Because
You're getting up about the time I'm usually going to sleep.
yeah, I get up
You
or a
know.
little after 2 and go to work. Go, I clock in at 4 a.m. because that's
Yeah, yeah,
when they open up the building. You
yeah.
know, there's a couple that comes in and he shuts off the alarm and turns on the power. I just go in and go boop 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 boop. There, I'm clocked in. Yep, I'm
And
there an
surgeons are
hour
now
before.
removing lungs with 9 millimeter pistols since that's what they do according to Biden. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and personally, I wished I will vote for Donald Trump and I will support him 100%. But
mm.
I wished he wasn't our uh, uh, current
Nominee.
nominee. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
oh, I just saw that apparently DeSantis and Trump had about a 3 hour meeting today in
Ooh.
seclusion.
Mm.
So,
Interesting. Interesting.
so it might, maybe we're looking at uh, a Trump DeSantis ticket, or maybe we're looking at a an alternate in case something happens that Trump ends up not being able to win. Trump will
Right.
still
Right.
support
Right.
behind DeSantis at the
Mm-hmm.
nomination. I don't know. It's just uh, that's
Right.
what the part about alternate. That's my theory.
Mm-hmm.
That's not anybody's been speculating about that, but it's because and DeSantis would certainly win if he got the backing of Donald Trump. That's for sure.
Right. I think so too. Oh, Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsa Gabbard would be an excellent, excellent, excellent choice.
Right.
That's who I would rather see up there.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I'd
and
like to see her as Veep too.
yeah,
She'd
yeah,
be
that's what I
a good
mean is
Veep.
Veep.
And
Yeah,
that way, you're building up the bench for
yeah,
when if Trump does get elected.
Right,
Uh,
right, for VP. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I knew
uh,
you.
yeah, hmm
She did change parties. Yes, she.
yeah.
Uh,
Did she
uh,
become a Republican or is she an
no,
independent?
I think she's. I think she's an independent,
Yeah, yeah.
but she's also a conservative independent. There's,
Right.
you know.
So you were talking about speculation. Here's
Oh yeah,
my speculation that may happen. Okay, say Trump wins on it's November 5th, right? I
yeah.
think between that day and January 19th, you might see some Democrats fleeing the country. Because I think what they'll do is they will find a friendly, I don't know, maybe European country, and they will call themselves the legitimate government of the United States and set up a shadow
Shadow
government
government. Yeah.
over
Well,
there.
here's something that a lot of people don't know. That they have in I think they have it in Australia, and I think they have it in the UK. But they actually have an elected shadow government.
Oh,
What it is the opposing party or the lesser party that would, and should something happen and a catastrophe, they've got other
that's right, Ronnie.
yeah, he does hold a commanding lead in Mexico,
Hmm.
but they actually have the opposite party that has all the people in place, all the way from prime minister, all the cabinet party, and they actually help alongside the current, and it's a backup plan, in case
Ah,
you know something like what happened in London has fallen happens. Well, then they've got people
right.
who can step right in and take over if they need to. So
Because, well, here's what's going to happen. I think Obama.
Guys, I'm sorry. I gotta go.
okay,
I gotta
all
go.
right,
I got people on another stream waiting for me. So
all
I
right,
will
Okay,
see you
okay,
tomorrow night.
we can have
all
you.
Good
right. See
night.
you tomorrow night. Yep.
So we're going to shut down pretty soon here.
Yeah, yeah. We
Just
went
want
over a
to
little bit. I didn't.
finish my little point here. I think
Okay.
what will happen is Obama, the Clintons, oh, who's that idiot out in California that's been peddling, oh, God,
Newsom.
Adam Schiff. I think
Oh,
he'll leave. I think he'll go bye bye. And several other people, maybe even Biden may join, you know, because if Trump's elected, there's going to be an investigation, and I think the Bidens have a good possibility of being, serving some prison time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's a
All right,
possibility.
folks. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. Hope y'all have a wonderful Sunday. Don't forget Lloyd's show tomorrow night.
Or night,
And
7
I'm
Central.
doing something special on Friday night. I am starting a new thing. It's my version, the American version, or the American version of Jalen Charita. Here,
Ah,
we're going to do what Pusa Studios used to do. I'm going to do a network show where people
okay.
can come in, meet each other, and we'll build up some channels here. So
Yeah, okay.
that'll be
That
Friday night. Haven't picked the time. It'll probably be around 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So
okay.
take care and catch you, if not Friday, Saturday, the original Art Co. I'm going to change the format there a little bit. We won't go quite as long as we have been the last few
Right.
weeks. Take care, everybody. God bless. Catch you next time. Bye bye.
Goodbye, everyone.